Last year, I made a video called What's in My Wallet? And in that video, I talked at pretty good length about my American Express Platinum card and the American Express Gold card. And I explained how they would pay for themselves and how I would be utilizing points for future travel. As you watch this video, where I'm going to update you on what's in my wallet, please keep in mind that I am not, by any stretch of the imagination, a financial expert. What I'm doing works for me. It may not be the best possible scenario for everyone, but it works for me. I don't carry any balances on the credit cards that I'm going to talk about, so I don't pay any interest on any of my cards. And if you have cards that you are still paying off from past purchases, please do not try what I'm doing. At least until you have paid those cards down to zero, because I personally refuse to ever be in debt again. Now, since posting that first video, I have added a few cards to my wallet, and my strategy has changed just a bit. And today I want to tell you what's in my wallet for 2024 and how I'm using those things to benefit me on travel as a newly retired educator on very limited funds. Now, I will be the first to admit that I had this preconceived notion, some might say a very naive preconceived notion, that when I retired, I might be traveling 5 or 6 times a year. Not always overseas, obviously, but travel nonetheless. And it still might work out that way in the future. A lot of my travel has been curtailed for a bit while I'm working out all the issues for this family trip to Scotland that's coming up. And I want all of that taken care of. But I've already started planning a trip to Italy in November, which is going to kick off sort of my personal travel time going forward. So my travel plans, they're still very much a work in progress. So let's start with just a brief recap of the 2 cards that started my journey, because I do still get a lot of questions about these cards in comments on various videos. The American Express Platinum card is by far the most expensive card that I have. It has an annual fee of $695 a year. Now, for me, that annual fee actually turns into less than zero. American Express pays me to have this card. So let me walk you through a few of the benefits that I personally take advantage of with this card, because it's changed a bit since my first video. The Platinum card gives me $240 every year to pay for online entertainment. And I use that money to be reimbursed for my Hulu subscription. It's like $27.95. And every month after that charge hits my card, American Express issues a credit for $20 to pay for that plan. And that plan includes Hulu, Disney Plus, and ESPN. It also reimburses me for airline incidentals at $200 per year. Now, I'm going to be upfront and honest and tell you that I'm not using the $200 per year. Right now, I'm only utilizing about $100 of that per year. And so as I go through what I'm being paid back by the American Express card, I'm going to use the $100 figure. That covers if I have to check a bag, it will reimburse me for checking a bag. If I purchase drinks on the flight, it will pay me back for purchasing drinks on the flight, all those kinds of things. It also reimburses me $155 every year for my Walmart Plus subscription. And that pretty much has taken the place of my Amazon Prime subscription that I've canceled. So I'm getting Walmart Plus for $0. It also puts $15 a month onto my Uber/Uber Eats account. It shows up across both apps, and if I use part of it, it subtracts it from both apps. And I get to spend that any way I want. I can use it on Uber to pay for a ride, but I hardly ever do that. And so this money must be spent that month or you lose it. And I was continually losing it for a long time. It wasn't until recently that I learned I can order food through the Uber Eats app, and I don't have to have it delivered. I can actually go pick it up. And since my mom likes to get a catfish dinner from Captain D's every so often, and I like the low-carb breakfast bowls at Crystal, I can order those things through the Uber Eats app, go pick it up, bring it home, and American Express pays for it. Free food is a good thing. And that comes to $200 per year. And then there's my Saks Fifth Avenue credit of $50 twice a year. And again, you have to spend it or you lose it. But I order my aftershave from Saks Fifth Avenue, and I make sure my order is about $50. And so once that charge hits my card and I pay for it, American Express then puts $50 credit back on my card, and that purchase is free to me. It also paid for my Clear subscription, which is an annual thing, and my TSA PreCheck, which is every 4 or 5 years, I think. That's $189 a year just for Clear. And if you're not sure what Clear is, the easiest way to describe it is this way. If you get TSA PreCheck, you get to go to the front of the line. And, you don't have to take your shoes off. You don't have to empty all the contents out of your bag. You still have to empty your pockets, maybe take your belt off, but, But Clear puts you at the front of the TSA PreCheck line. And when you're going through a very busy international airport, that can be quite helpful. It saves me so much time at these airports. Now, I can't use Clear at the Chattanooga airport, but TSA PreCheck still works there. But the other airports, Clear saves me so much time when it's available. And with the overall pre-check payment that comes to just over $200 a year that the Platinum card is giving me. There are more ways that I'm using this card to benefit myself, of course, but what I've listed, just the few things I've listed, is $999 per year, the way I've described them. And that more than covers the $695 they charge me for the card. The American Express Gold Card is my second most expensive card at a $250 annual fee. But again, I easily earn almost all of that back from two very simple things that I'm making time for anyway. In addition to the $200 that the Platinum card puts on my Uber account, the Gold card puts an additional $120 per year or $10 a month. So now instead of $15, I have $25 a month on my Uber account that I can use, and it's free money to me. So all I've got to do is go order something, go pick it up, and enjoy my life. In addition, it gives me $10 back on any purchases made at a select group of restaurants, and the only restaurant that's available in my area is the Cheesecake Factory. But while I'm on carnivore, I don't eat at the Cheesecake Factory because I like cheesecake. So I don't go there. Instead, since it's right next door to where I'm buying my coffee beans for my coffee at home, I'm going in there once a month and buying a $10 gift card to Cheesecake Factory. And I'm getting repaid, I should say, by American Express. And then I just take that gift card and I give it to my daughter, who might use it if she goes there for lunch while she's at work, or she can save up 2 or 3 of them and use it for her family to take them out to dinner. These two benefits alone come to $240 a year. So my annual fee for the Gold card is only $10. Now, those two cards give me a lot of options for points, but I have learned to use points in other ways as well. And so since that time, I have added a total of 4 cards. 3 of them are Chase cards, and a third one is an additional American Express card. Now, I'm going to stop right here and say that if I were to start over, if I was somebody just getting started, trying to get travel credit cards to earn points for travel, I would start with the Chase Sapphire Reserve card rather than an American Express card. The annual fee is just $95 a year, and you usually get a sign-on bonus of so many points that makes the $95 really, really cheap. But it's extremely affordable. And like the Platinum card, it gives me 5 times the points if I book travel through the Chase travel portal. And I'm finding I like that portal better than the American Express travel portal, because American Express is really designed for the upper crust elite travelers, which I'm not. And Chase is really designed more for the average Joe Blow off the street, which I am. Even airline flights for the same airline and the same flight can be cheaper at the Chase travel portal. And Chase will give you 1.25 credits for every 1 point that you use. So if something costs me, let's say it costs me 10,000 points, I really only need to use about 7,500 or a little over 7,500 points to equal that 10,000 points, which means I need to spend less to get less points to get more. I know that's hard to follow on a YouTube video. But on these cards, typically every point you earn is worth 1 cent. If you spend $1, you get 1 point. So you spend 100 pennies, you get 1 penny worth of a point. But if you spend $1 on travel, you get 5 points. And if you spend $1 on, through the American Express Gold Card, if I spend $1 at the grocery store, I get 4 points. And if I spend it on the Chase card, I get 3 points. So you can see you can start adding points up over time. But through the Chase portal, these points are worth 1.25 cents to go farther. And so I've basically moved all of my airline purchases to my Chase cards, because that's the single biggest expense to any travel that I'm going to do, especially overseas. In addition to the Sapphire Reserve, I picked up the Chase Freedom Flex card. Now, there's no annual fee for this card, and it's billed as a money-back card, kind of like Discover or that kind of thing. But that money back is actually points. And so it gives me 1 point per dollar. However, where American Express and all the other Chase cards give me 1 point per dollar, on an average spend anywhere I go, the Freedom Flex card gives me 1.5 points per dollar, which means that I'm automatically earning more points on this card than any other card I own if I'm just going out to buy something that I would normally buy. So it has become my go-to card for everyday purchases. And then on a whim, I applied for the Chase Inc. Business Preferred Card. You don't have to have a business to get a business card. And I'll admit that I got this card specifically for the sign-on bonus of 130,000 points. That was at the time I got mine. It has an annual renewal fee again of just $95. That $95, if I went out and spent $95, it would get me 95 points on regular purchases. However, spending that $95 got me 130,000 points. I think it was worth the investment. While it isn't giving me, any money back the way that the American Express cards do, it is giving me 3 times the points on things that they don't. Like my Mint Mobile bill, I get 3 times points back. Shipping FedEx or UPS, I get 3 times points back. And if I was paying for it, which I'm not, but if I was paying for it, it would give me 3 times the points back for my utility bill, my house payment, my Wi-Fi, and any other business-related expenses as they are deemed. And that just rolls in more points. And as I said, you don't have to own a business to get the business card. And then finally, just last month, I picked up the American Express Hilton Honors Surpass card. And yes, that's a mouthful, and I don't say it very often. And I will get 120,000 sign-on bonus points when I complete spending $3,000 in the first 6 months. I am less than 2 months into spending, and I've just about hit my $3,000 already. And that gives me a ton of perks at Hilton hotels around the world. Now, these points, unlike the Platinum and Gold card, these points are only usable at Hilton hotels. So it's a lot more limited. And they're only worth about 0.6 cents per point rather than 1 cent per point. So, there's a bit of a trade-off going on here with these points. But I have decided to use my American Express cards strictly for the purpose of earning hotel night credits. And if you've watched my video on helping me to choose a hotel, you'll know that my first 3 nights in Rome in November are coming off of this card, and those 3 nights are free. My long-term plan with this card is to actually downgrade it to the American Express Hilton Honors card, which doesn't have an annual fee. But that wouldn't have given me the bonus points for signing up. The point system still works there, but it works a little less. I'm using the Chase cards for airfare, and I'm using the American Express cards for hotels. Now, there are ways to get much more benefits from points than what I'm doing. And if you look online, you'll find all kinds of YouTube channels that walk you through how to do that. But I find that those things are greatly limited for me when I'm flying out of Chattanooga. If I'm flying out of JFK, okay. If I'm flying out of Dallas, okay. But if I'm flying out of Chattanooga, those things don't work so well for me. One last thing is there are so many different benefits per card. 3 points here, 2 points there, 1.5 points over here, 5 points here. Or like with my American Express cards, I might get, if you go to this store and spend $60, you'll get $20 back. All of those things are very difficult to keep up with. In fact, it's physically impossible to keep up with all of them. And so I've downloaded an app called Card Pointers. I pay a subscription for that app. I'm not trying to sell it. And, don't get me wrong. I'm just mentioning it. I'm not trying to get you to sign up for it. But it keeps track of everything offered through all of my cards. It automatically updates. Every time I open my credit card account, it updates all of the offers into Card Pointers. And if I walk into the mall, it will tell me as I'm walking past each store exactly what card I should use if I go into that store to get the most benefit from my cards. So if I go into Dillard's, or if I go into Men's Warehouse, or if I dine out at the Outback or wherever, it tells me which card I should be using. And it is really, really helping. So that is my strategy. It may not be the best strategy. You may be doing this and have done this for much longer than me, and you've got a much better thing worked out for you. I'd love to hear about it. But my strategy for me is simple and sleek and entirely doable. With my November trip to Italy, my Chase points have paid for my airfare. My Hilton Honors points paid for my first 3 nights in Rome, at a DoubleTree in Monte, which is a neighborhood I've never explored before. And since my American Express points were a bit depleted after the Scotland trip, like almost non-existent, my Chase points will pay for my 3 nights in Florence at the hotel that you are choosing for me. And then I have enough Hilton points left to get a free room back in Rome for the days that I'm there before I fly back. That room will be determined later. Free airfare, free hotel stays, and that's why I'm doing what I'm doing. Now, I'll have links to all these cards in the description below. There are sign-on bonuses offered to you if you choose to sign up. And, of course, if you do sign up and you achieve the bonus, I also will get a number of bonus points on my card as well. And that just means more travel videos for this channel. If that's worth anything, it is to me. As always, I want to thank you for watching, and we will see you next time.